Hello, I'm Antonio Mora. This is the newsandnews.com Day in Brief. Today's top stories in 4 minutes. It's Wednesday, January 16th at about 6 p.m. 4 Americans were killed by an ISIS bomb at a restaurant in Manbij, Syria, near the Turkish border. Another dozen people are dead and at least 3 other Americans were injured. This comes less than a month after President Trump claimed ISIS was defeated and that he was pulling all U.S. troops out of Syria, a move that was not well received at the Pentagon or by most American allies. After today's massacre, Trump ally Senator Lindsey Graham suggested the president's stance has emboldened ISIS and encouraged such attacks. Most mothers teach their children not to brag. It's a lesson most recent U.S. presidents don't seem to have learned. To great fanfare, President Bush 43 landed on an aircraft carrier and spoke in front of a banner that claimed mission accomplished in Iraq. Thousands of U.S. soldiers were killed there in the years that followed. President Obama claimed al-Qaeda in Iraq was defeated. It became ISIS. He then called it the JV team. We know that comment was clueless. Last month, President Trump declared ISIS was defeated and announced the troop withdrawal from Syria. And today, in an incredibly tone-deaf speech, Vice President Pence again proclaimed ISIS's defeat, even though he'd been briefed about the terrorist attack. As I speak, Trump is reportedly meeting with senators and his national security team to discuss Syria. It's time the president stopped freelancing on foreign policy and that he listened to his generals because, as opposed to what he's claimed, he does not know more than them. Following reports that Trump told aides several times over the past year that he wants to withdraw from NATO, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle stood up to this presidential hubris. GOP Senator Rob Portman rightfully said NATO is one of the great accomplishments of the last century and that to this day it is almost uniquely successful at keeping the peace. Let's hope they're listening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. A bipartisan group of senators is preparing to send a letter to Trump committing to work on a border security package with him if the government reopens. Reports are that the White House is urging Republican senators not to sign on to the effort. It's tough to blame the White House because the commitment will not be worth the paper it's written on unless Speaker Pelosi and House Democrats are on board. Pelosi has asked Trump to delay the State of the Union until the government reopens or that he deliver it in writing or from the Oval Office. It would be unseemly to crow that the State of the Union is great while hundreds of thousands of federal workers aren't getting paid. Pelosi should have left it at that. But like so many of our politicians, she hasn't learned that less can be more. She used security concerns as the main reason for her request. In a New York Minute, Homeland Security Chief Kirstjen Nielsen shot that down, saying Pelosi didn't consult the Secret Service and that they are fully prepared to support and secure the State of the Union. British Prime Minister Theresa May barely avoided getting kicked out of office, narrowly surviving a no-confidence vote in Parliament. This comes a day after her Brexit deal suffered the worst defeat ever seen in the House of Commons. As things stand, it seems unlikely that May will be able to come up with a deal that satisfies both major parties and the EU before Britain is scheduled to exit on March 29th. It's possible that could be postponed, that another referendum could be held, or that the UK exits without a deal. Economists and businessmen are warning the latter would be disastrous. Today, Ford said a no-deal Brexit will be catastrophic for the UK auto industry and for Ford itself. An American businessman who survived the 9/11 attack on the World Trade Center is among those killed in the Al-Shabaab attack on a hotel in Nairobi, Kenya. The death toll today climbed to 21 plus 5 terrorists. William Barr's confirmation hearing for Attorney General ended with even the Washington Post telling the Senate to confirm him. But after initially appearing supportive today, the top Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee, Dianne Feinstein, said she will not vote for him unless he promises to release the Mueller report with limited national security redactions. Barr hedged a bit during the hearing, saying he wants to make public as much of the report as is consistent with the special counsel regulation. Turkish President Erdogan's obsession with Fethullah Gulen, a 77-year-old dissident and Muslim cleric who lives in exile in the U.S., has now further ensnared Enes Kanter, a star player for the New York Knicks. Kanter recently didn't travel to London with the team, fearing an assassination attempt. Now Turkish prosecutors want Kanter extradited and are seeking an international arrest warrant for him. They accuse him of being a member of a terror organization, which is what Turkey calls Gulen's group. Kanter tweeted that he is a law-abiding resident of the U.S., where he's never even gotten a parking ticket. In our alternate universes segment, the great divide between conservative and liberal media, Trump derangement syndrome has destroyed what's left of news judgment in our newsrooms. 4 Americans serving their country were killed by ISIS, and most news organizations on the left and right, on TV and on the web, are paying more attention to the political posturing over the State of the Union. Hopeless. We have all those stories and much more updated around the clock 7 days a week on newsandnews.com, where you'll find all you need to know in one place. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the right of your screen just below this video. Please follow us on Facebook at Real News and News, and follow me on Twitter at AMoraTV. I'll see you again tomorrow.